my people in the struggle, man. Hold your head up. I know it's hard in this world we live, but we gotta make the best for what it is. Keep your head up. Hang on my cats being laced with biz. We gotta strive cause we hurting our kids. Keep your head up. I know it's hard in this world we live, but we gotta make the best for what it is. Keep your head up. Hang on my cats being laced with biz. We gotta strive cause we hurting our kids. Keep your head up. Welcome to Peep Game TV and Keeping It Real Team Collaboration. I'm your man, Shadi Ali, aka SRD, my man Jay Sean, aka Mr. F Love. He's running a bit late, so I'm gonna hold it down for us right now. How many of you heard or been seeing on the news about Jimmy Kimmel? Basically said something about I can't remember the guy's name that was murdered, one of Donald Trump's mentors, where he speaks on diversity. Basically, he was speaking on diversity. I heard one of his speeches. He was speaking to a brother saying diversity basically is actually messing up things, you know. So, but anyway, Jimmy Kimmel was speaking about Donald Trump, and he said basically that he was mourning like a 4-year-old. And I guess if you all watched it or you've been keeping up with the news, you realize that they basically suspended Jimmy Kimmel. And now we constantly go back and forth about America being supportive of Europeans rather than people who are Afrocentric. And now America's showing a different side of herself now. She's basically saying, look, we don't care about none of you. Only ones we care about is the corporations. We care about those people who make the money. And the government is basically, for me, and this is my opinion, the government is basically the figurehead for the rich, wealthy elite. Those individuals who basically pay the money to play the tune. You know what I mean? So we all go back and forth about, being European or Afrocentric. Either way, we all are suffering. And it's time for us as a people, as a whole, to come together and start dealing with what's going to benefit us as humanity, what's going to benefit us as human beings. What can we do as people sharing the same earth, sharing the same land, and having to share the same resources? What can we do by looking at each other and knowing that we all have the same desires? We all want what's best for us and our families. And most of us, the people who we are a part of, our nationality or our personal heritage. So we need to, my suggestion is, we as human beings need to band together. We need to stop allowing what's happening here in this country to continue happening. Why? Because we have different political views, because one person or is a Republican, another person is a Democrat, one person is a Muslim, another person is, a Christian. It's time for that. It's time for us to put that aside. It's time for us to do what's best for the human species. And at this point, it's not being separated. Even if we do have our own political beliefs and our own political ideologies, for me, I believe Everyone on the planet who has a nationality has should govern themselves, and that's pretty much happening. So, with that being said, we all we all here in this country that's known as America. Why do we continue to fight against each other when we're seeing that we're suffering? No, and not in the manner of everyone suffering in the same manner. Some people suffering financially. Some people are suffering uh, health wise. So it's different reasons and different purposes why people are suffering. Some people are suffering socially, you know. So if we all have some type of struggle and some type of suffering, what is the best thing for us to do? I suggest that, as I said, we come together and put our political, social, and national, you know, ideologies aside. I mean, you see what I have on, the shirt that I have on. It's called Moral Compass. I personally believe that those of us who say we're black, African American people of color, or any of that thing, any of that nature, we should govern ourselves. We should have our own government, and we should be able to communicate with the United States government. I want all of you who are watching to take some time one day and look at the inauguration. Check out the inauguration and see most recent Trump and see who Trump pledges his allegiance to. And, you know, next time get back to me. But I will tell you what, he doesn't pledge his allegiance to America. And we all say, believe, call, and say we're American, African American, Italian American, whatever type of American. We put something first because we all care about who we belong to. We all care about our families, or at least the majority of us. And some of us don't care about nobody but ourselves. Those people, I mean, more power to you. So, and getting back to the shirt, Morocopolis, as I stated on the show, a previous show, this is an attempt of me and some of my associates are, you know, striving to put together our political statement of being able to call ourselves what we recently found out or recently came across information that our people, the people whom we are known as Black, African American, Jamaican, Puerto Rican, colored, you name it, the dark skinned people or the people with color in their skin. We, at one point, had our own government and here in this country. And what we haven't been taught or what has been hidden from us is the fact that we had our own government. And once America was created, America pushed that government to the side and then basically adopted us as Americans and pushed us aside. I'm sure many of you wondered, like, okay, what were black people called before they were called slaves? What, you know, when Columbus came, what were black people called? We were called Moors. We were called Moroccans. We had our own government. We governed ourselves. We had our own laws. What happened was once that America got its freedom from Great Britain and create why? Why did America want freedom from Great Britain? America wanted their freedom from Great Britain because they no longer wanted to be governed. They no longer wanted anyone to control their resources, or they wanted to be in control of their own resources. Remember, the people who claim the land and govern the land gets to control the resources. They get to tell you how much you're going to pay for something, how much interest you're going to be charged, things of that nature. What ingredients goes in the food, all of these things we all deal with. It doesn't matter what complexion or how much money you make. Ingredients in food, interest rates, taxes. Okay, some people can maneuver a little better when it comes to taxes, but however, you're not able to maneuver when you go into them stores and you buying certain items for your children. And there's a lot of how many of you even take the time to read the ingredients of some of the stuff that you eat? And how many ingredients do you really know what they actually mean or what they actually are, what they are? We are eating food. Why? We have to eat to survive. We have to eat to live. Now, as I was saying before, when you have a government that is being ran by the rich elite, that means the rich elite tells the government what to do. We vote for these people now with the hope that they're going to have our best interests at heart. However, they don't have our best interests at heart. The best interest is the ones who spending the money. And I'm sure most of you are aware of that. I'm sure most of you can see that. Just the fact that Trump got in, what real presidential credentials do you think Donald Trump had, other than his ability to make deals and being comfortable with individuals who make money? So America is not for any particular people anymore. It's a illusion that they use to play on us as a people, us saying all people here in this country, where they start putting black, white, and things, rich, poor, inner city, urban, that type of thing. They start putting us against each other, and we're fighting for scraps off the table where they having the whole meal and they throwing us what's left over. And we're fighting each other, trying to survive. Each day we're going to work trying to pay bills, trying to keep our head above the water. Now, while these rich elite continue to make laws that keep it that way. And this goes out to those who are police, those who are judges, all of you people, those people who car dealers, who have banks, insurance companies, all of you people who play along with the rich elite and start allowing it to be like colorism rather than humanity. It's sad for us to be and for especially for those whom claim a religion and they claim that they're doing something for the goodness of God and they want to do right. So for those of you who are trying to do something for the goodness of God and you want to do right, then start treating your fellow man better. Stop judging people based on their complexion. Stop judging people based on their physical appearance. Stop turning your back on people who truly are in need and really want better out of life. When we do this, all we do is keep a system that has been propped up for a purpose of keeping the wealthy wealthy and keeping a what we call a lower echelon of people, a poor people, you know, a struggling people. Think about it. Whether you consider yourself European, white, Italian, black, African American, whatever you consider yourself or call yourself, if you get jammed up in a situation, a lot of times, depending on the situation, if your finances can't help you, you're stuck. You're stuck. The sad part is America has made, based on its cruelty and inequality when it comes to humanity, made people feel that riches and money defines who you are. The richer you are, the greater you are. And don't get me wrong, we need to eat. We need to pay bills. We need to pay our taxes. We need to take care of our children. When we start allowing materialism or external things to overcome our inner being, the inner being part is for those of you who are religion and have a faith, that inner being is the part that connects you to your higher power, to your higher self. Who amongst us truly is comfortable functioning on the lower level self? And if you're truly comfortable focusing on everything you want rather than things that you need, then so be it. And I would say it's only because you haven't really been properly educated. You know, getting back to what I was saying when I was talking about unifying and different people from judges to police, if if you started looking at anybody you see, no matter what complexion, no matter what financial situation they're in, you start seeing them as a human being, seeing them as your fellow man. Because what more can we do to show that we are godly for those of us who acknowledge a higher power, or righteous, or a stand up individual, besides being fair with other people? The major thing, even the guy that Donald Trump got rid of Jimmy Kimball over, he had a right to say what he wanted to say. You know, he had a right to believe what he believed, even if we don't even if we disagree. Murdering someone, my opinion, because you disagree with them, that's low level, low level thinking capacity. You're doing something that you can't take back. That's going to cause a domino reaction. Just going to cause some other people pain. That's what's going to ultimately happen when we start just allowing, you know, money, riches to consume us, you know. And there's a lot of rich people, but there's so many of them that are unhappy. I didn't come from a family with a lot of money. I came from a family with a lot of love. I came from a family with guidance. I came from a family who was uplifting. I came from a family who was unified. So when I speak to other individuals, I'm only speaking from what I came from and what I came through. I see life as sure it's a struggle, sure it's a hardship, but that's not all it is. Life has joy, life has happiness, life has triumphs. Life is a bunch of different things put together, just as we, as human beings, striving to rise up to, some of us are striving to rise up to a level where we can rise just above being a human being, where we want to have supreme intelligence, where we want to be highly articulated, where we want it to be connected to the higher power that created everything. We want to connect to something that is greater than ourselves so that we can be greater. Some of us, some of us are comfortable, you know, robbing, stealing, lying, killing. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Some of us are. And what can we do to fix that? You know, anybody that's watching, what can we do to fix it? What is the best solution to the situation that we face? We, a lot of individuals, and when I say we, I'm saying at this point, all people who want better, all people who are tired of those people who are making life more complicated for us, those people who are taking things that don't belong to them, those people who are killing people just for jealousy. We're talking about those individuals. Now, all of us have complaints, but how many of us are actually thinking or contemplating or strategizing what we can do to make our situations better? And not just us, but situations for our surroundings, our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities. If we all, or if enough of us, start focusing on how can we make bad situations better than rather than make a bad situation worse, we can actually get to a point where we start showing and displaying a more respectable demeanor for each other, you know, a more loving, kind consideration for each other. It's, for me, it's sad to see the state of humanity in many cases as today. It's sad to see that exploitation is on a high level. Give you an example. Let's talk about. I don't know if you guys saw it or heard about Cameron uh, situation with was Trying to get his name. Uh, can't think of boxer. Can't get his name now. Brody. Uh, I'm having a mental block right now of the individual's name. But anyway, the individual was on the show and he crossed the line being too flirtatious with the co-host. Adrian Broner, that's the individual. Adrian Broner, boxer, maybe ex-boxer, I don't know, you know. So Cam checked him. Cam, you know, said to him, "Look, you know, you being a little, you know, disrespectful. So I'm gonna pay you your money, but you got to go." What's up, Kev? Peace. You know, okay. Cam paid him the money. He left. The part that I'm saying where we start exploiting each other was, you know, off camera. Cam said some words that showed that it was like he's exploiting the guy. You know, when he came up and he basically was saying the guy's an alcoholic, the guy's a junkie. He was just using him for the show. Okay, these are behaviors that I personally think we need to work on rectifying. You know, when it comes to individuals and their own personal struggles, I've had my struggles with drugs and alcohol. So a lot of times when people struggling with drugs and alcohol, those struggles are based on emotions that you just don't quite have a handle on. You just don't quite know how to deal with these emotions. And you find a way through self medicating to try to help you get through those tough times. Remember, therapy is something new, especially in, you know, the black, aka African American community, you know, I like to say Moroccan Moors community. Therapy is something new. However, in a certain period of time, growing up, you had individuals that you could share your deepest thoughts and your, you know, your inner thoughts with, and you guys would go bounce back and forth off each other, and you will be able to help each other. However, today you can't even trust the individual. You can't trust most individuals enough to share your deepest secrets with the fear that they may use those secrets against you or share those secrets with other people prior to you being ready to come out with those secrets or, you know, what you're going through yourself. And that's sad. And it's something that we have the ability to repair. Certain things we don't need, you know, professional help with everything. We are innately, and when I say innately, naturally born with certain, for lack of a better word, certain instincts, certain characteristics within us that basically tells us what we can do, you know, or what we shouldn't do. You know, how many times have any of you been in a situation where you thought about something, you started to do a thing, but something inside of you said, don't do this thing. And you did the thing anyway, And once you did this thing, you went back to that original thought, you know? So, how many of you did that? That is basically what we call your intuition. Your intuition, your intuition. Inner your inner being tells us, our inner being tells us certain things we should do and certain things we shouldn't do. Certain things that are healthy and helpful, and certain things that are unhealthy and hurtful or detrimental to us or to others. It's up to us to choose. Because we live in a time where doing what everybody else does is popular, many of us do that. Many of us do what everybody else do. We're not even. Many of us are not trying to be original anymore. Many of us are not trying to be ourselves. We're stuck in a cycle of trying to be like everybody else or trying to fit in with the crowd. And believe you me, I've been guilty of it myself. We all are capable of being influenced. We all want to be accepted. We all want that. You know, we all want to be a part of something. How do you explain people who join sororities, you know, people who join organizations, and people who join gangs? All of those people are looking for something. As as humans, as a creation that was created by a creator, we thrive for camaraderie amongst each other. Yet it seems like many make it difficult. Peace, that peace, brother. You know, many of us make it difficult when it comes to camaraderie, unity, closeness, partnership. You know, those are things that, you know, many of us are struggling with. And rightfully so. Why? Because that type of behavior is not being promoted. It's every man for himself is being promoted. So we, as individuals, have to take it upon ourselves to start, you know, showing a better way, being a better example. Because we see what's happening around us, we see what's going on, we see, you know, young people, you know, no matter what nationality, are killing each other. And that's that, you know, they're killing each other. And even if it's a small amount, why can't we decrease that amount? See, it comes to many of us have come to the realization of accepting everything as it is. And, you know, the religious people amongst us, they, many of them say, well, God will work it out. How's God going to work it out? Let me tell you how God works it out. If you read your Bible, if you read your Quran, God has prophets. Those prophets did God work through people. So rather than say God's going to work it out, allow yourself to connect closer to your higher being, and then start allowing the higher being to utilize you to make the changes that you want to see. That's what we all have the ability to do. We all have that ability. It's just a matter of if we're willing to do it and how far we're willing to go to make that happen. And how tired are we of the status quo? How tired are we of the same old thing, the same old results? It's up to us. So, how many of you ready? And this is just something to think about. This is not something that I'm suggesting that anyone just jump out the door and start running to try to do. Some people, it's already in them, and their everyday life kind of, uh, what I want to say, hides it or disturbs it or dims it out. Once you get to the point where you start letting that inner person shine more and more and connect more with, we all have a higher and lower self. Many individuals focus on the lower level self. You know, the self about, it's about me, it's about what I want, it's about how I feel. That self, the lower self. The higher self is about, it's about us. It's about we. It's about what can I do to help someone else become better. That's the higher self. That's the higher level that we're not focusing on, many of us. So until we, as a world of people, not just a nation, a world of people, a planet of people, the planet of people start practicing humanity, start practicing more unity, more, or let's say, more consideration, more caring, more loving, more kindness, these things, more of, then we're going to continue to be at a disadvantage when it comes to trying to make our situations better as individuals and as families and as communities and as nationalities. Yeah, there always appear to another nationality of people that one nationality is doing quite well and the other nationality is suffering. And most times when it comes to the ones who suffer, it's normally the people of color who are suffering. Why? Because they're being guided, governed, ruled, colonized, whatever way you want to call it, by a people who feel they're superior over them. Why? Because they get to call the shots. They get to set the laws. So that's what gives them the superiority. If you control all the money, all the resources, and all the laws, how wouldn't you be or feel superior? So for me, the reason you see me wearing this shirt and this hat is because I think we, as a people, as Black, African Americans, Dominicans, Jamaicans, Haitians, whoever, all people who can identify, or they got people in their family that look like me, I'm talking to all of y'all. It's time for us to unite as one people, and instead of having all these different countries, let's just make one country and call it the Moroccan Empire, you know? And then just call ourselves Moroccans, Moors for short, and start putting our laws together. Like you had the European nation, we'll have the Empire of Morocco or the Moroccan nation of people. We all come together and just start operating as one people and allow the one people to operate on one planet for one purpose, and that's to improve the conditions of humanity, to improve people not having to suffer unless they choose to, especially when it comes to necessities. And necessities is food, clothes, and shelter. There's no reason, my personal belief, that people should suffer for things that are their God given rights: food, clothes, and shelter, and the right to govern themselves. No man, my opinion, should have the right to govern another man. Each man, each people should govern themselves, and their governments should be able to work amongst each other to do right by its people. That's my thought, and that's been my thought for decades. That we needed. Hey, what's up, Shoshana? Yeah, Jay. I don't even know if he's gonna make it today, so I'm just doing it solo today. So that's why you probably don't hear him. But what's good with you? So in closing, I just I'm passionate about positive, uplifting change. I'm passionate about us as a species of people operating on a level where humanity trumps power and riches. You know what I see in the majority of the cases, or most cases, or a lot of cases, or too many cases, where humanity is pushed to the side and profit is put up front. It's sad. It's appalling. It's uncomfortable for me to even really, you know, see that we've dropped so low as a species. We're the only people. Well, we're the only creation that waste the way we waste. That don't that are not in line with natural the natural way of order. All the animals, all the flowers, the days, the sun, the moon, everything else has a natural order. We're the only ones who have the ability to change that natural order. We have the ability to turn it into something else. And we exercise that ability, but most of us, we exercise it in a manner that is good for us, but maybe not so good for somebody else. You know? So that's it for tonight. I'm gonna leave you all with, you know, do your best to be your best, and put yourself in a position where you can be an example for the rest. So until next week, I'll leave you all with peace.